The shocking and scandalous side of William Tecumseh Sherman. William Tecumseh Sherman, a major figure in American military history, is best known for his pivotal role in the Civil War, particularly his brutal march to the sea. Often viewed through the lens of his military tactics and leadership, Sherman was also a man of complexity and controversy. This video delves into some of the lesser-known, scandalous, and truly shocking aspects of his life and career. Fact number 1. A turbulent childhood and family life. William Tecumseh Sherman was born in 1820 in Lancaster, Ohio. His life took a dramatic turn at the age of 9 when his father, Charles Sherman, a successful lawyer and judge, suddenly died in 1829. The death left the family in financial ruin. William, the ninth of 11 children, was put into the foster care of a family friend, Thomas Ewing, a prominent attorney and politician in Ohio. This adoption changed the course of Sherman's life. Ewing provided him with educational opportunities that led to his appointment at West Point, where he graduated 6th in his class. Despite the early instability, Sherman formed a close bond with his foster family, especially with his foster sister, Ellen, who later became his wife. This connection to the Ewing family not only provided Sherman with stability but also significantly influenced his future, both personally and professionally. Number 2. The San Francisco years. Before the American Civil War, William Tecumseh Sherman experienced significant professional challenges, notably in the banking sector. In 1853, after resigning from the U.S. Army, he relocated to California to manage Lucas, Turner and Company's bank in San Francisco. His tenure coincided with the economic turbulence that led to the Panic of 1857, a severe financial crisis spurred by speculative market collapses and international economic troubles. Sherman's bank was particularly affected, suffering from acute liquidity issues as the local real estate bubble burst, prompting a bank run by depositors. This financial failure profoundly impacted Sherman, instilling in him a deep understanding of risk, failure, and resilience. Number 3. The harsh reality of total war. General William T. Sherman's military doctrine during the Civil War is best encapsulated by his own words: "War is hell." He operationalized this view through his infamous scorched earth policies, particularly during his march to the sea. This campaign, conducted from November to December 1864, involved approximately 62,000 soldiers moving from Atlanta to Savannah, Georgia, laying waste to all resources that could be used by Confederate forces. The strategy involved destroying over 300 miles of railroad, seizing 5,000 horses, 4,000 mules, and 13,000 cattle, and confiscating 9.5 million pounds of corn and 10.5 million pounds of fodder. Sherman's forces also burned cotton gins in public buildings in an effort to demoralize the Confederacy. This approach was not only aimed at crippling the Confederate war effort but also at forcing the Southern population to abandon their cause, thereby hastening the end of the war. Number 4. Arson in Atlanta. The burning of Atlanta in November 1864 stands as one of General Sherman's most controversial military decisions. After capturing the city on September 2, 1864, Sherman ordered its evacuation on November 11 and initiated the burning on November 15. The destruction was primarily targeted at military assets, including 81 miles of railroad, over 5,000 tons of munitions, and numerous supply depots. However, the fire also devastated much of the civilian infrastructure, destroying thousands of homes and businesses and leaving the city's population in dire straits. This act was intended to significantly disrupt Confederate supply lines and manufacturing capabilities. While it effectively achieved its military objectives, the burning of Atlanta has been a subject of extensive historical debate, portrayed dramatically in media like Gone with the Wind, and continues to evoke discussions on the ethics and impact of wartime decisions on civilian populations. Number 5. Conflict with Native Americans. Following the Civil War, General William Tecumseh Sherman, appointed as the commanding general of the United States Army in 1869, was instrumental in directing military campaigns against Native American tribes during the Indian Wars. His approach, developed during the Civil War, involved harsh tactics aimed at subjugating or displacing Native American tribes to facilitate American expansion. Sherman is infamously quoted as saying, "The more we can kill this year, the less will have to be killed the next war. For the more I see of these Indians, the more convinced I am that they all have to be killed or be maintained as a species of paupers." His strategies were evident during the Great Sioux War of 1876, culminating in the Battle of the Little Bighorn, where Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's 7th Cavalry faced a significant defeat. Sherman's role in these conflicts highlights the moral complexities and the severe impact of U.S. policies on Native American communities. Number 6. The emotional turmoil. During the early stages of the Civil War, William T. Sherman experienced profound mental health challenges, which today would likely be recognized as symptoms of severe anxiety and depression. In late 1861, after being assigned to command a large contingent of troops, Sherman became overwhelmed with the responsibilities and the fear of inadequate preparation against Confederate forces. His condition deteriorated to the point where he expressed irrational fears of enemy numbers and capabilities, estimating Confederate forces at 200,000 when they were significantly fewer. These concerns were communicated in letters to his superiors and were publicized, leading to a temporary leave of absence from his command for what was described as nervous exhaustion. Sherman's own words from this period reflect his mental state: "I am forced to admit I am more nervous than I should be. I am not fit for this business." This episode was a significant stigma for Sherman, but he returned to duty in 1862, demonstrating resilience and eventually achieving great military success, albeit with lingering effects on his mental health throughout his life. Number 7. The media's enemy. General William T. Sherman had a notably contentious relationship with the media, marked by deep-seated animosity and public disputes. He was openly critical of journalists, whom he viewed as threats to military security due to their tendency to spread misinformation and sensationalize news. Sherman's disdain for the press was famously expressed in his statement, "I hate newspapermen, they come into camp and pick up their camp rumors and print them as facts." This adversarial stance was not merely a personal issue but part of a broader military strategy to control information and ensure operational security. His ongoing battles with the media highlighted the dual challenges of commanding in war and managing public relations, establishing a legacy that would influence future military leaders' interactions with the press. Number 8. The quote, "Misattributed." One of the most widely recognized quotes associated with General William Tecumseh Sherman is, "War is cruelty, and you cannot refine it." However, this statement was actually made by one of Sherman's subordinates, Major General Philip Sheridan, during the Civil War. The frequent misattribution of this quote to Sherman reflects the enduring perception of his ruthlessness in military strategy. Number 9. Sherman and slavery. While General Sherman is best known for his decisive role in the Union victory during the Civil War, his personal views on slavery were marked by a complex and often contradictory stance. Sherman was not an abolitionist. In fact, he held several racist views that were typical for many white Americans of his era. His correspondence and actions indicate that his primary motivation in the Civil War was the preservation of the Union rather than the abolition of slavery. For instance, in letters to his wife and other private communications, Sherman expressed a desire to see the Union restored with or without slavery, which he deemed a secondary issue to national unity. This aspect of his personality introduces a moral ambiguity into his legacy, complicating the narrative of Sherman as a straightforward heroic figure. Number 10. Innovative yet ruthless tactics. Sherman's military tactics during the Civil War were innovative and prescient, foreshadowing the concept of total warfare that would become prominent in the 20th century. His approach involved not only direct military assaults but also strategic efforts to undermine the civilian infrastructure and morale of the South. This included destroying crops, railroads, and other resources vital to the Confederacy's ability to sustain its war effort. Sherman's philosophy significantly influenced future military doctrines but also initiated ethical debates about the morality of targeting civilian resources in war, debates that continue in discussions of military strategy today. Number 11. Political refusal. After the Civil War, General Sherman emerged as a national hero, widely admired for his leadership and effectiveness. His fame made him a natural candidate for political office, and he was frequently mentioned as a potential presidential candidate. However, Sherman steadfastly refused to engage in politics, epitomized by his famous declaration, "I will not accept if nominated and will not serve if elected." This stance was remarkably consistent throughout his post-war career, as he believed his skills and temperament were ill-suited to the political arena. Sherman's refusal to convert his military success into political capital is particularly notable in an era when many military leaders sought to leverage their wartime reputations for political advancement. This decision highlights his dedication to military service and his discomfort with the political machinations of the time.